right, hey, it's backyard business. I don't know why I have to like think when it's backyard business in this beautiful backyard. I don't want to say mine, that would be like braggadocious, but in this beautiful backyard, thankfully. And I do want to say, Ellie and Bailey, thank you for what you do, and we really appreciate that. Kendall's with us, and Nellie's with us, so I got Ellie and Nellie, and I got, more importantly, Bill Brown. And Bill, I meet a lot of people, as you know. What's that? Yeah, but I mean, I meet a lot of people, but as soon as I met you, we clicked. And maybe people say that stuff because it sounds chamber of commerce like, but we did. And what I always liked about you is there's always depth in your conversation. It's not just peripheral stuff. And first of all, you're reasonably new to the Lehigh Valley, but you like it, right? It's good. It's been good.
It's crazy. I love it now that I've gotten more involved in the community. But I've actually been in Lehigh Valley since 2004.
That's true. When you told me some of the people that you know and so on, I'm like, wait a second. So yeah.
I started buying real estate, buying and flipping houses back then, when you could get a house for $40-something thousand. Can't do that now, but.
How did you even find it? Oh, you're from your basic.
I was living in the Poconos. I'm originally from New York.
Okay.
Moved up to the Poconos, and I knew a person.
Wait, let me ask you this question. When you got the guy from New York, when you got to the Poconos, you're like, what the heck? I mean, a little bit of different, that's a whole different universe.
I always was a country boy in heart for some reason.
Okay.
I don't know why. It's like I never liked the city. And so, like, the first time I think I went to Virginia was Danville, Virginia. I was about 6, 7 years old. And man, I kept saying, I want to live in a place like this. Like, I knew that on the inside of myself.
Oh, good. So you got there, you're like, oh, okay, this is chill, and I liked
it. Yeah. Away from everything.
When you say just throw it out, in the city, what kind of city did you grow up? What part of the city? I mean, tough life, easy. Tell me about your growing up.
I grew up in the Bronx, New York. I grew up in an age where that the civil rights thing was really still. I look young, right?
Yeah.
I'm 65.
Whoa. Wow.
So
wow.
I was still seeing a lot of the stuff that that discrimination, that kind of racism was really, really strong as a kid, and it set a tone in our minds. So yeah, when we say rough, the crime wasn't like it is. You didn't find all that, but you definitely were aware. You were always made aware, especially when I went to Virginia for the first time. That you just can't go walking around and act like you own the place. It's not the way it works.
But you have a good attitude. Is it hard when you think back not to be resentful? I mean, you lived it.
Yeah, but what you find out is, I heard Maya Angelou say, walking around with resentment is like drinking somebody else's poison and waiting for them to die. So, to walk around with that kind of energy just serves no purpose. And as you get older, we realize that there are things that we can't change, and there's no sense making a big deal out of it. You learn to sway better when you get less filter. You say what you want to say, but you learn to kind of roll with the wave better as you get older.
I like that you do get less filtered. All of a sudden, you start to say things that you feel. I don't want to make this the whole base of our conversation, but it interests me. Do you remember as a young boy when Dr. King was killed?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I remember when Kennedy was, all of it. I remember it. I remember the reactions of the adults.
Yes.
I remember, I was too young to understand exactly why they were so important, but I remember. I remember.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So
I remember being
having this conversation.
but enough of that. But I just want to ask you that because, what's the evolution of that? We got a ways to go, but we made some progress.
Yes.
And
some up and some down.
Yeah.
Because I'm fine, and this I get in trouble with some of the freedoms then that we've achieved on both sides of the race. Then it becomes this kind of careless, reckless attitude where we become sometimes a better person, and then some people become worse people as a result of it. If only they would use their powers for good instead of evil, the saying, right? So these freedoms afford a lot of liberality that can be harmful too. So, it always comes down to the person. I always say you can't legislate morality. You just can't. It has to be in the person.
Are you still in the investment business in the Lehigh Valley?
Solely. That's my love of loves.
Oh.
Like, people will talk to me about the staffing company because that's where they know me from with Lindsay. And
I was going to ask you that, yeah.
Yeah, but I came here as an investor, and I still invest. And right now, I've been looking for buildings to buy.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to turn some get some apartment buildings out of some of these unused office buildings. But yeah, that's my love of my love. If I can have my choice of choices outside of music, it's investment in real estate.
Yeah.
I love real estate.
Yeah. You want to talk about Nellie at all? She's right here, you know.
You know the story of it, right? I wound up investing her as a salon, and she wound up helping me go from 300 plus pounds to the guy sitting
Yeah,
before
I
you.
want to make sure I say that. So first time we met, you were the whole different, you were like another person.
Yeah.
But you really, well, I can't believe how much you've changed your appearance.
To the love of my life.
Yeah. What would be let me ask you, just a quick question on that. What would be the watch out for that you can get in that lane, and how did you, and what would you say, just besides a single statement, got you to reinvent yourself physically? Is it here? Is it here?
It was here. It was here, but it was a fainting spell and a trip to the doctor, and them saying,
that gets your attention.
if you don't do something, you might not. They asked me, my blood pressure was so high, like, how are you even walking around? Like the fact that you walked into this facility is amazing. And so at that point, I met her. Like I said, she was my business partner. She was into the vegan thing, and she was saying, we got to change. And she started making me read packages, looking at labels. And even though we may think that's a pain, since we're talking about health, and this is very important, especially in our age group, when we start thinking about the sodium levels, this stuff that America allows you to put in food that no other country will allow you to put in your food. And so taking that few seconds, even though it may seem like a pain in the behind, to read that label can change your life. And so she always told me, I'm so proud of you reading the labels, you're looking at the sodium content, you're seeing how many calories and how much is a serving. I'm like, I want to be here long enough. Is
it safe? It's safe to say, really, if you think of it, the changes that you've made and where you're at, if you hadn't changed, we might not be doing this interview.
I was very close to the other side of the lake.
So we talk about the physical. How does that? What's the change up here from all that physical reinvention? You're feeling healthier. But has it changed you beyond that?
Well, you tell me that all the time. You're a different person every time I see you. Whenever life is breathed into you, be it in your business, be it in your relationship, be it whatever, whenever new life is breathed into you, it changes your whole aura from the inside out. You begin to reflect on what you're feeding: food, energy, positivity, good conversation, all this stuff. When me and you started talking, we started having conversation, you would always make these jokes about me pulling you off the ledge, and I would go, all I'm doing is awakening in you that thing that's there. I'm just giving you something to feed it outside of the other side that's been fed, right? So you feed your hopes and you starve your doubts to death.
Yeah, but that is the truth. You have that strength, positivity. Is sometimes, I hate to admit it, but sometimes I lack, and so you coach me out of that, which makes me think of, when you're talking the spiritual side, what people might know, you're a pastor, and that's part of your life's journey.
Pastor, but
yes, but part of your life's journey.
Yeah. And I always said I'm a mentor more than a pastor. You know what I mean? For me, I didn't want to just stand there and preach a message and send people home. So everybody had my home number, and people used to say, that's overwhelming. How can you deal with that? All the members had the home number. They could reach me, they could call me, because people need help outside of the service. That's where, when you hit leave the feel good music, and you hit the world, and the world is waiting for you. That's when you need the most help. And I didn't have that.
And many times, by the way, that's when it's not available. After as you just said, after the excitement, the cheerleading, if you will, of the service, people go home and forget that, people
Monday morning, the bill collector calls.
Yeah, amen.
And all of that euphoria is gone. And now where you go?
What got you there? What got you, because you're a business guy, you're a hard driver. What got you into that spiritual realm, if you will?
Ooh, that's a story. I don't know if I can encapsulate that too much, but I say this to people all the time. I didn't have an experience where somebody came to me and said, come with me to church. I was such an atheist.
Okay, so
I was
you
a hardcore, like I didn't.
With a capital A.
And when I started to see the reality of God's existence, I I was a hardcore Muslim for years.
Mm.
I was, and I'm not talking about Nation of Islam. I was like a Sunni Muslim.
Oh, okay.
And then I had, you know me, I asked a bunch of questions and I wasn't getting the right answers. Like, why is this one bad and this one good? And how come we hate this? And that doesn't make sense. Then I went to the Buddhists for a while. They were nice and warm and friendly and everybody was going by art.
Gotcha.
I did that for a while and that was okay, but still something missing. And after a while of searching, this is my experience. People don't have to believe me. I don't care. I was sitting in my living room one day and I was like dealing with all of this emotion and I just saw the Spirit of the Lord stand before me. I saw a silhouette and he said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes unto the Father except by me. And that was enough. I was done. I knew who he was. He didn't say his name, but I knew, and that was it.
Wow. Wow. So you experienced others and not judging. That's where you got.
That's where I park my car and you can park wherever you want.
So, so then all right. So we did the pastor thing, but that interests me that you got to lift people up, and days when you're not. So because you're again like a tough guy, but did you like?
I'm a big crybaby too.
Okay, so inside, I got you.
Thank God for her. I get to be myself and like let out because you got to have that. And having to be so hard for so long is one of the reasons why I think I wound up overweight and unhealthy because you having to carry everybody's weight. That'll take its toll on you. That's one of the first things me and you started talking about. I was like, okay, you can't carry the world, like back away, you know, and can't please everybody, right? But we want to. People like us.
I'm still on. That's where I park my car. I don't know why I love that line. But anyway, yeah.
But yeah, it changes everything once you find your peace.
So there's business Bill Brown. There's spiritual Bill Brown. There's the couple Bill Brown. And so where is this taking you? How do you reconcile all that? Which is great. I mean, you've had a full life and you're still rolling. But where do you go with all that?
Tony, I honestly feel like in the past 4 or 5 years, 4 years, I'm really just starting. I feel like it's just beginning. I've accomplished more in the past 4 years than I have, I think, in my whole life put together. You know, and again, it's all about being around people that feed you and don't drain you. The deals I'm doing, the things I'm looking at, the things I'm learning. I went to school again for real estate. I'm studying social media now, and it's like I feel alive, and I feel like at this point, when people get mad, she doesn't like when I say it. I say all the time, statistically speaking, I got maybe 15 years left. You know, statistically speaking, I got to get it in.
Yeah.
So I go hard for it, and where I am now is. You don't know when you're going to leave this planet.
Amen.
And so you got to do what you got to do to make it work. I didn't think we were going to talk about any of this kind of stuff, but this is great.
Well, that's you though. There's what I love about talking with you is there's a deep you. And again, when you do the spiritual thing, which has been your career and business, you grew up tough. I like what the culmination of all that is. So like in the minute that I have left, what do you want to say? Like, what do you want to say?
Thanks, Tony. I appreciate that. I want to say, first of all, I didn't join the chamber because I needed to be a part of a business thing. I joined the chamber because I met you and I found a friend immediately. And I said, well, I want to be a part of what my friend is a part of, right? And that's real. I mean that from my heart. But what I would say is live every day like it's your last. Because there's always dirt to find in something, but then there's always in that dirt the possibility of something new to grow. So whenever I get pushed back down to the ground, I say, so what do I plant? Since I'm down here, might as well use this time to try to start a new life somewhere. If you focus on that and you always focus on where you want to go instead of where you've been, sometimes you reflect because it helps you, but you can't drive forward looking in the rearview mirror. You have to be looking ahead of you, right? And so I didn't make that up. That's no saying, but it's a phenomenal statement. Keep your eye on where you're going. You're never too old. It's never too late. And start again. and again and again until you get it right.
You know, in a world now where you can say this, you and I always say this when we're leaving each other. So I love you, Brother Brown. You're Bill Brown. You're a good guy. Thanks for being with me. Give me the shake. Give me the shake, you know.